Dialect. In this video, we will learn what is a dialect. A dialect is a way of speaking a language that is unique to a certain place, group of people, or ethnic group. Dialect is a variety of a language spoken by a group of people that has systematic phonological, lexical, and grammatical features which distinguish it from other varieties of that same language. Now, dialect can vary because of geographical location, social class, educational background or occupation, age, and gender. Geographical locations. Dialect variation arise due to the geographical separation leading to distinct regional accent and vocabulary. For example, American, British, and Australian English each have unique characteristics shaped by local culture and history. Then we are having social class. Social class influences dialect, which higher class often using standard or prestige forms of language. Educational background or occupation. Educational background and occupation impact dialect. Those with higher education tend to use standard forms and a large vocabulary. Occupational jargon also shapes dialect, with professions like medicine, IT, and law having specialized vocabularies. Age. Age influences dialect, with younger people often driving linguistic innovation through new slang and expressions. Older generations tend to maintain traditional language forms, creating generational differences in speech. Gender. Gender affects language use with social expectations leading to differences in speech patterns between men and women. Women often use more standard and polite forms, while men may use more direct language. These patterns vary across cultures and contexts. Forms of dialect variation: phonological, grammatical, lexical, pragmatic. First, we have phonological variation. This type refers to the differences in the sound system of a language, including how words are pronounced and variations in accent and intonation. Next is grammatical variation. This involves differences in sentence structure and the rules governing words, form, and order, showcasing how speakers may construct sentences differently based on their dialect. The third type is lexical variation. This focuses on the differences in vocabulary used by speakers of different dialects. It highlights how the same concept can be expressed with different words or phrases. Finally, we have pragmatic variation. This type relates to how language is used in communication. It includes here specifically will focus on American and British English as examples. In many American dialects, the r is pronounced at the end of the word, like car. In some British dialects, the r at the end of the words, like car, is often not pronounced, resulting in car. Grammatical variations. Americans often use the simple past tense where British English might use the present perfect. For example, Americans might say, I just ate instead of I have just eaten. In British English, the present perfect tense is more commonly used for recent actions. For example, I have just eaten is preferred over I just ate. Lexical variations. Americans use the word apartment to refer to a set of rooms forming a living space. In the UK, the same concept is typically called a flat. More examples. In American English, we see elevator. For the same thing, we have word in British English as lift. In American English, we see truck. In British English, we have a lorry for the same thing. Pragmatic variations. Americans tend to be more direct in their request. For example, can you close the window? British speakers might use a more indirect and polite approach, such as, would you mind closing the window? In short, a dialect is a regional or social variation of a language with distinct pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. Dialects are mutually intelligible and reflect differences based on geography, social class, or ethnicity. Thank you.